So welcome everybody to the July version. We're down to the last 90 days. Glad that you all are here. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the CEO of isiFederal. We do business development into the federal space, and that's our primary place. Jamie Zell, who usually is here, helps out with GSA schedules. He is on vacation, so he's blowing us off. So you can give him grief for that. And the lady that you've been hearing is Taylor Dean. Taylor, tell us about Gross Mendelsohn and what you guys do.
Gross Mendelsohn is a full-service CPA firm, but we happen to have a department that is specifically designated to support government contractors. We support federal, state, and local government contractors. We perform indirect rate audits. We assist with incurred cost submissions, with bids and proposals, with setting up compliant accounting systems or helping to remediate accounting systems that have some problems. We work with DCA auditors, just any way that we can support someone from an accounting and financial perspective and compliance perspective.
Yep, and that's awesome. We met up, I guess, about a month ago now or so. Finally got together, and it was great. Just the way that you think, Taylor, is exactly what's necessary for folks that are either doing business or want to do business or think they want to do business. And the other thing you do is protest support. Tell us about protests. How does that work?
Well, we've been asked to come in and provide some consulting work for bid protests where the issue has to do with cost or pricing, and it has to do with someone is protesting an award, and the protest is based upon a claim of inappropriate evaluation by a contracting officer on the pricing of a particular bid and proposal. Okay.
So that's an important thing nowadays. It used to be that you wouldn't protest at all because you didn't want to irritate somebody, and now it seems just to be the course of events as we do that. I don't know if Raphael's in the house. Raphael, you here? If not, he helps folks with getting ADA certifications, HubZone. He also has capabilities, TEASE.com, capabilities. That is a video capability. It's kind of cool. You can reach out to him. He also has the sexy blue glasses, so that's I just cannot stand that picture, so I got to move on. Steve Hoffman is out as well, but he helped us last month with white papers. We talked about using white papers, draft white papers as part of your marketing strategy into the government and business development strategy. And Lisa Jones from Inspire, she helps with proposal writing and capture management. So if you need any of those services, please reach out to these folks. They're quality people, and we'd like to do a little support for them. So a little bit about this webinar. We have over 900 folks registered, and we're going to max out today probably because of how many people signed up. It's every second Tuesday at 11 a.m., just like dialogue with Taylor and most of the other folks that'll pop in, and maybe they'll pop in with us today as well. We get real about how things work here in the federal space. There's a lot of people that'll tell you, there's $500 billion. Yes, there is. But it's a challenge. If it was fast, easy, and cheap, everybody'd be able to do it. And a lot of folks can't do it and don't. So they have trouble. And that's why we're here to talk about winning strategies and tactics. We'll talk about some of those today especially. And we'll show off isiFederal a little bit. And if you don't like that, just remember what you paid. So with that, we're also going to be asking some questions, and today the GSA question. This is something that's important. I don't have a GSA. I have a GSA. I'm working on a GSA contract. I need more information about GSA contracts to the side, or I had a GSA and I lost it. So those are all the options that you have. And if you do have a GSA schedule, I have something that's a brand new announcement for everybody that I want to make sure that you know about. So let us know where you are, and we'll make sure that we get you the information that you need on specific things. All right, so there you go. We have a bunch of folks here that don't have a GSA schedule, which is great. We love the fact that you're here. We can talk about some of those things. We'll make sure that if a GSA schedule is something for you, we could work on that. But we'll just to let you know that nobody's alone in this. But we didn't have anybody here that lost a GSA, which is great. And who's that? That'd be Lisa. Lisa, tilt your hey there, tilt your camera down just a little bit so we can see. Awesome. Great. We're just bragging about you, about you doing proposal development. I don't know, maybe I missed it. So anyhow, great, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Always love it when you're here. So this is new, guys. If you have a GSA schedule, the folks that just selected that you have a GSA schedule, I want to point you to QuikFuse.com. eBuy is a critical place for us as we get close to the year end, and it gets crazy. And we've been working on this for years. We had our own version that we were doing in-house. We finally built an industrial version of this to be able to release so that it is free for the next 30 days. That's before the 15th, because after the 15th of August, it's not going to be free because it's going to get too crazy busy. And one thing that you'll find, and this is pretty cool, you sell 500% more. That's 5 times what you spend on QuikFuse, guaranteed. If you do that, if you use it for a year and you don't get 500% what you invested into it, we'll refund all your money. I am convinced that if you use this, if you just use the tool, it'll work for you. QuikFuse, QuikFuse.com. It is smoking. It is so smoking fast. It gives you the notifications right away. And as we get into September, you'll see the notifications for GSA eBuy shrinking down to 24 hours. And if you don't know about it, you're not going to be able to respond. A real quick disclaimer, we may have folks that come in from time to time from the government. I don't know if they're here yet, but they may be. So this event is not affiliated or endorsed by GSA or any other agency. And the fact of the matter is it's all voluntary. So the government people they're not obligated to buy from anybody. So there you go. So we got rid of that disclaimer. A couple little housekeeping things. If you like the way that Lisa and I look today, you can make us bigger by dragging that thing from above or below, and or you can make it disappear altogether, so you have access to that. Also, open the panel from the side, and you can do the chats. You can ask us questions by submitting those to us via that. And if you dialed in on the phone, and there's a lot of folks that dialed in on the phone, make sure you enter your PIN. Not 13, could be 13, but probably not, but enter your PIN, and then so that we can unmute you, because otherwise we can't do that. So why are you guys here today? I already know why a lot of folks are here today, because I was looking at all the documents for people that were coming in. We had over 150 registrants yesterday. So I know that there's a whole bunch of people coming here because of the industry report that we did. And we do the industry report because almost everybody needs help with business development. When we ask this question, 93% come up with needing help with business development, and that's why we're here. And to give you a little dose about isiFederal, we provide intelligence, getting smart about the marketplace. We provide marketing strategies, including blitzes and briefings. We'll talk about briefings in a minute, because we did that last month as well. We can help folks get BPAs, IDIQs, GWACs, GSA schedules. We shove those off to Jamie because he loves those types of paperwork, and I'm glad that he does. And then we do representation here in DC, face-to-face representation for folks, a lot of folks that are out of town, but even folks that are around here, we do representation for. And we help with proposal management by handing that off to Lisa. So there you go. There's $170 billion in the next 81 days. And guess what? If you're not in front of the key decision makers now, you're already 9.5 months behind for this fiscal year. But we're going to tell you how you can catch up in some of those areas. So before we do that, we're going to address some of the things about what you hear out about in the marketplace. So do you believe the system is, one, fair for everybody? It's fair and equal. Everybody gets an equal shot. Is it heavily influenced by the incumbents? Is it totally rigged? Or is it all about price? Or is it broken? And you can pick any of the ones that you want. So you can pick more than one if you like. So pick any of those that you like and tell us what you think about this, and we'll make sure that we're going to kind of dovetail into this in just a minute. So here we go. It's fair for everybody, 13% says. Heavily influenced by the incumbents, or it's totally rigged, or it's all about price. Love it. So the fact of the matter is, we do have places where it can be fair for everybody, but I'm telling you, the incumbents have an incredible advantage, don't they, Lisa?
They sure do.
Yeah, they do. And what we need to do is make sure that we're not following the system that's laid out. which is the current system that's laid out for us. And everybody, if you're new to the federal space here, great, love the fact that you're here. So the SBA system, or the system that they put you into for the small business liaisons, is this. Get a GSA schedule. Great idea. It's one of the best tools that you can have. It's easier to get than just about any other tool to be able to sell into the government. So that's a great thing. We agree with that. Now watch FBO. How many of us have heard this? Watch FBO. I put everything on FedBizOps. First of all, that's not true, because there's only about 140,000 that hit in a given year, and there's 2.5 million opportunities that hit. So monitor GSA eBuy. We agree with that. In fact, we built QuikFuse to do it. So that's what we agree with. We agree with monitoring eBuy because it's only available to GSA schedule holders. Then you have meeting with the OSDBUs, or the small business liaisons. You have the matchmaking events and giving your capability statements out and things like that. You have registering for the prime databases. And I'm going to say it because it's now 11 years I've been asking this question. 11 years. Have you ever gotten a phone call from registering with a prime vendor database for just doing that? I'm not talking about if you did the follow-up right and all those things. If you did, let me know, because you'll be the first in 11 years. In fact, it's a lot more. There's a lot more about that makes it very challenging for me with the small business events. So with the capability statement repository, they say, hey, we want your capability statement, so they can keep it on file, and they keep it on file right there. That's where they keep it on file. So we have to stay in front of these folks, because this system is broken. And what they're asking you to do is they're asking you to sell to people that don't have budget, that don't have decision-making authority, and therefore they're not able to even buy from you, even if they like you. They can help you kind of move along potentially, but they don't have any real decision-making authority. And I've been in places where we've had 200 professional people, 200 professional people in the room. This was Department of Education, for 2 contracts that totaled $1.2 million. And they believe that they were doing something good, and they desire to do things good, and they think they are. But the problem is, think about that, $1.2 million, one of those companies may win that, but it was a total waste of time. That system's broken. So the truth of the matter is, the federal buyers already are buying from people and companies that do things, the same things that you do. And by and large, they're satisfied, or at least they're not willing to change. They have existing contracts that are already working. They don't like to change, and they already have relationships with people they like. So if we take it from this standpoint, then we need to answer this question. Why should they let us in? Why should they even give us the time of day when they already have the resources and they're already in place? I just talked with somebody earlier today. I don't have anything that's available right now that's up for that. And they already, that may be true, it may not be true, but they already have resources, and they're not really considering it yet. So we've got to do something to be able to do that. So what we did last month is we answered the why. Why should they let you in? Using GovBrief interagency briefings. And we did and I'll recap that real quick. GovBrief is a methodology very similar to what we're doing here, where we reach out to the federal buyers and we market to them. And here's a case study that we did last month. It's a successful firm. They're a construction management firm, but their last project was over 9 years ago. What happens with your past performance after 3 years? Lisa, what happens with past performance after 3 years?
No longer relevant.
It's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
And they got a GSA schedule, which was awarded in 2012, but they didn't have any sales. So therefore, GSA sent them a letter to say, hey, I'm sorry, because you got to make how much do you have to make in a given year to stay on GSA schedules? 25 grand. Mm-hmm. That's what it takes. And they believe that if you don't sell 25 grand, it's a categorical failure. And they're right, because you're not in it for 25 grand. You're in it to be able to grow your GSA contract to the average, which is about $2.8 to $3 million. That's what winning GSA contractors have. So if you look at this is the situation, right? And this is Hytham, great guy. Hytham's a great guy. And so he gets this industry report. This happened to be a GSA contract holder report. A lot of you got the NACE report. We'll talk about that in a minute. But he looked at it, he said, I have $0 and I'm in trouble. So I'm going to put my hard hat on and I'm going to work. I'm going to make sure we get out in front of these people. And so he got in touch with me and we started working. And we did 2 briefings, one in June and one in August. There were 107 registrants, 48 attendees. It had immediate opportunities. And more importantly, we had follow-up phone meetings and face-to-face meetings in DC where we identified 2 incumbents with gaps. If you want to know about gaps and incumbents, you can watch last month's. We talked about the gaps in being able to sell to the gaps. And that's when incumbents have a weakness in some form or fashion. And you can't find them unless you shake the whole tree. And that's what we did. And the results were like this. He has new relationships, right? That's the first thing. We had 3 uncompeted wins. Guess what? His GSA obligations were exceeded, so he got to keep his GSA schedule. Now he has new past performance to build on and more opportunities coming down the pipe. This is the strength of being able to get proactive and market out there. Now here's the problem with briefings. Guess what? It's too late. If you haven't already gone to GovBrief, we can't do it anymore because it's too late for that. So revisit that in October. I was going to put the No Soup for You up from Seinfeld, but I thought that was a little too mean for everybody. But the fact of the matter is, revisit this, put it on your ticker to revisit this in October because it's a powerful tool to build the relationships for next year. So now what? If we're already now into the last 90 days, what can we do? What can we do to make sure if we haven't been working at it, or even if we have, how can we get the extra juice to be able to get in front of these folks before fiscal year end? So we're going to be talking about the NAICS industry report, and we'll talk about those in depth. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about Market Essentials Lite, which is the next version up beyond the industry report, and we'll talk about what you can do with Market Essentials Lite. We generally do Market Essentials the entire piece, but we don't have time for that because that takes 3 weeks. And by the time we're done with that, you're in the middle of August. Next thing you know, you can't market to people anymore because they're going to disappear. So we're going to talk about the industry report. We will talk about what it is. What is it? First of all, if you have those, let me ask this question. Did I ask this? I didn't ask this yet. Did you see? All right. So I'm assuming that you got an industry report. I meant to do a poll, but I didn't. So there you go. But what it is, if you're looking at your industry report that was sent to you, it's the past 18 months of direct federal sales. That's the first piece. The second piece, it's the top NAICS by DUNS. So your DUNS number, there's actually 4 reports in there if you have 4 NAICS or more NAICS registered, or if you have sales by those NAICS. So that could be sales by the NAICS or registered in SAM. So we take the information and we pull your information by DUNS, we look at your NAICS codes, and we identify the competitors that are associated with those sales, and we look at all direct federal sales, both GSA and non-GSA. So if it's sub work, it's not going to show up, but that's okay. You're still booking business, but we look at that and say, all right, what we're really after is we're after getting to the key decision makers with direct. Now, the direct, if you talk to a contracting officer, buyer, program manager, they may throw you over the fence to a prime. Great. That's a way to be able to get to a prime, and you don't have to worry about vendor databases, right? So with that, why we built this, first of all, it's to show how we think. We want to get away from looking and tracking opportunities. We like to monitor things. There's nothing wrong with monitoring, but what you really want to do is get yourself ahead of the RFPs. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is take a look at what the competitors do. And this is a little taste. I say it's a little taste. We're like the crack dealer. We'll give you a little taste. So the idea is, I know it's a terrible thing to say, but it's the truth. And the fact of the matter is it gives you a taste of how we think. And it's going after the people, not the opportunities. By the time it hits the street, it's too late. Lisa, how often is it that we find that people have been working on RFPs for more than 6 months?
Very often.
Very often.
Very often. Most times people are working them 2 to 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yes. I found.
And we're down to the last 90 days, and all of a sudden everybody's like, well, I want a piece of that.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, so does everybody else. But there are people that have been working for 2 or 3 years. Now, those are usually the bigger ones, right?
The bigger ones.
The bigger ones. The smaller ones, the under $750,000, even then, it could still be working for several months before it hits the street. And it's our job to get in front of those people. So we did this so that the do-it-yourself folks and the ultra small businesses, right, the mom and pop shops, nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to belittle small beginnings, but I want to make sure that you're thinking the right way, because what we want to do is we want to get after the people, right? So we want to make sure that we're after the people and that we get you thinking about getting to those people before the next one, right? And that's how we show off our stuff. And we are going to show off our stuff in just a minute. So what I want to know for the people that have their industry report, right? If you look in your email, there's 2 different kinds of industry reports. One of them has the top competitors and the top buyers, right? There's 2 sections. The other one has 3 sections, where it's the top competitors, your buyers, and then the top buyers, and where your buyers fit in the top buyers. So this is a pretty cool thing. So I'm going to ask the question for everybody is, come on, you can do this. All right. So did you get your buyers in your industry report? So yes, you got buyers, and you're probably asking, how did we do that? How do we know who's buying from you? It's pretty cool how we do this. And no, and then maybe it's why not? I would love to see if you have my buyers. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you didn't have 5 buyers that we could identify, we didn't identify them. You may have a couple, but we didn't give those. Or maybe you didn't get an industry report. So if you didn't get an industry report, don't panic, because we have a way to be able to do that too. But let us know. So you got your buyers. How did you do that? I love this. This is one of my favorite things. So here's the deal. 46% of the folks saw the buyers that we identified, right? So another 28% didn't. And then a lot of folks didn't get an industry report or didn't realize that you did. So we want to make sure that we'll show you what we can do with those too. So we already did this poll. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how this works. So I'm going to try to do this without having a total meltdown. I'm going to hit this and say escape. And now we're going to take a look at a couple of these reports. Now, I got to look for Angela, first of all. Let me see if Angela's here real quick. Man, we are maxed out. There's Angela. Hold on. I'm sending the unmute to you, Angela, I think. Oh, man. Come on, unmute you. All right, Angela, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, there she is.
Morning.
Good morning. So, real quick, this is actually the one that you just got not too long ago, right, Angela? This came the other day, but we'll talk about the one that you did before. So real quick, Angela doesn't have a whole lot of sales in the federal space yet, but we'll talk about that, right? So Angela had the industry report works like this, right? It has your NAICS code, right? That's right here. It has what it is that NAICS code is, right? It says, okay, here's your DUNS number. Here's the market value for that particular NAICS code, NAICS code. And then we get into the top competitors that are registered in those NAICS code or are winning in those NAICS codes. And we can see that there's a fair amount of money here. The other thing we see is the number of federal buyers that we identified for those folks. So we're going to talk about somebody else in just a second. So then we have the top 10 buyers from that space, and you don't have any here because you didn't have any sales, right? So we can do, right? So, and then there's additional information that you can buy these. So what Angela did is she bought some, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk about, I'm sure everybody would like to know a little bit more about this company. Now, Dell is registered in multiple places. So this is one segment of Dell, only one segment of Dell. And you can see that they did $142 million. That's just one segment of Dell. We do this by DUNS. So Dell has a bunch of different DUNS because they've swallowed up people all along the way, right? So what we can do is we can see, all right, there's 7,000 and plus, 7,700 plus, right? Now here we have the other report, which happens to have they're buyers. So you can write these down. These are legit, right? If you're into this, you can look at this. So these are their buyers. So how do we do this? We do this because we take all the information we aggregated over the past 18 months, bounce it off the DUNS numbers of the people that are selling in the same NAICS code as you, and we identify them. So even with this, even though we have this this lady here, the reason why, here's how much she's spending, and guess what? She didn't spend it all with Dell. She's spending this with, here's the number one person that she's buying from. How can that possibly be? Because she's spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. These are the folks that we need to know. We need to be in front of these people. So how do we do that, you ask? So there's several different things that you can do from your report. So let's go into how these things work and what you get. So you go into here, you say purchase 500, purchase 250 buyers. Then you get to this and you say, oh wow, here's a couple of other things. So you can view all your competitors, right? So here's the competitors within this space. And you notice that we have Dell right here, Dell Marketing right there. Can everybody see this? It's kind of, it might be a little bit small. But there's Dell, so it has all the list of competitors, all the ones that are listed on that. You can also preview the buyers. Oh, look at this. We have all the buyers that are associated inside of these. These are all the buyers that we identify for that, right? The other thing that you can do, does that make sense, everybody? So you can view your top buyers, your competitors, and there's a way to purchase up to 250, right? And now you have other reports that you can see. And if you take a look, because Dell is registered in multiple places, we see we can do this by GSA SIN and schedule, right? Schedule 70, one of the busiest schedules you got, right? Then you can do it by NAICS code. You can also do it by PSC. That's product service code. So these are the areas where they're winning. And you can select quantities from any one of these. These are kind of like behind the scenes reports. If you want additional information, you do the preview. You can preview the buyers and all these. You can select the quantity. It gives you a different report. This is 20 billion, by the way, 20 billion for that particular report, right? And these are all sales, not just GSA sales. Just a reminder, and you can do that. If you need more than 250, you go to Market Essentials, and you'll see this is our premium product that we do. Best thing you can do for strategy, right? I would definitely revisit this in October, because every dime you spend here on anything that we do can apply to Market Essentials as an entire product, right? We do this for, instead of $44.95, it's $39.95, and it's a full report, has the feeder industries, really a powerful tool for NAICS, PSC, GSA schedule holders. Everything's combined together. It's actually something that we used with Hytham, in fact, to be able to save his GSA schedule before he got his sales. We could show, hey, we're doing the research, we've identified the people, here's all the people that we're after, and that was what saved his schedule, is we did the Market Essentials report. It's an entire report, and it can help you from that. It can also help you get funding in a lot of instances because it's such a comprehensive report. But the challenge is it takes 3 weeks to do, so we don't have time to do that right now. So what we're talking about right now is we talk about Market Essentials Lite. Now, let me see if I can launch this back up and see if this will go. Boom, and we can get this back on the screen. Will it go? Will it go? Yay. All right, so we did that. So we'll talk about Market Essentials Lite in a minute. So it gets you the top competitors by NAICS, your buyers. We just talked about all these things. The other thing that it does is it provides access to Monday morning roundtables. This is where you can come and you can scream at me, and we'll talk about screaming in a minute. Because right now we're going to talk to Angela. Angela is one of my favorite people on the planet because it didn't work exactly like she wanted. So this is important to know. What's important is that everybody understands what happened and what your expectations can be and should be. And then also, before we do that, I want to know about, let's talk to Angela. Angela Gibson is awesome. You're based up in New York, right, Angela?
Correct. I'm in New York City, metro area.
And you do commoditized IT, right? And you also do security, networking, and storage. Give us the dose of what makes Abraham. It's Abraham's, right?
Yes.
All right. Abraham's Consulting, so great, and why you work there. So tell us about you.
So Abraham's Consulting was born out of my personal frustration with working for value-added resellers. As you can see, there's a theme of frustration in my personality, and I act when I get frustrated. So I quit my job and started Abraham's Consulting. And the idea is that I would bring niche IT solutions in the area of storage, security, and networking to the agencies way before I knew anything about being certified as a small business. I would just bang on doors and get in front of decision makers. So it's been about 11 years, but I've been basically operating as a very small mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
And recently I decided, well, I should try to penetrate the federal government again, because I tried before and thought it was just too much of a forest to navigate. It is. Yeah, it's frustrating. I made a couple of sales here and there. I said, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. It's too much. So when I saw I don't know how I got I think I just got an email from
Yep. You got the market. Yeah. You got the NAICS report, I think is what it was.
Yes. And I decided, okay, let me call you up and ask some questions. And you told me all the things that you could do for me. But then when I actually bought it, my lead started to bounce. And I got frustrated. I was like, what? If you don't return my money right away, I'm going to reverse the charge on my credit card. This is, I'm thinking it's a scam.
That's right. What you think is a scam, right? And so
I was thinking it was a scam,
You hadn't been to one of these before, right? You had never been.
Never.
So you just kind of came because of the email that we sent. We did it piqued your interest, and you were thinking, okay, I'll try it. So we talked, and then they bounced. It's like, oh my gosh. So there's a lot of reasons for bounces. First of all, real quick, bounces happen. If you don't have the right mailing tool, they'll bounce. Some of the people are moving, right? They move around. So what did you buy? First of all, you bought 250 names. Is that what it was?
250 names, and 39 of them bounced when I did my first campaign, because I started off with the email campaign, because I'm thinking I ain't got time to call all these people. Let's do some emails. So I started that right away when I got my authorization to actually use once my thing was processed.
Right.
It started bouncing, and I said, what the heck is going on here? And then I was reaching out to you, and I couldn't find you because the email address you had, it was different from the one that I should have. I started really thinking it was a scam. But then I contacted you. When you finally responded,
Let me say this. You shot out like 4 emails in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's like, how come he's not responding to me? So I finally saw them, and I called you, and you were on the ledge. You were ready to jump. You were ready to absolutely lose your mind with me, which is great. And then we talked a little bit, right? And I said, okay. Yep. So important things were that we talked about. We'll talk specifically about some of those. You had some bounces. Now, bounces are going to happen, folks. They're going to happen. And you know why? And it's 18-month data, so it's pretty compressed. It's about as fresh as you can get, but it could be 18 months ago that person just talked to somebody today, just is resigning from his position at HHS, moving back over to Department of Transportation. That email is going to bounce. In 2 weeks, that email is going to bounce. And I talked to him today. So what did you do? So I said, okay, first of all, I said, it's okay. It'll be all right, right? And so
I insisted that I should get new leads, for the 39 that bounced.
That bounced?
And you said, well, I'm going to give you that, but I'm going to give you more than that. So he gave me an additional 50. So I ended up with 300 leads.
Yeah.
So that was really good for me to calm me down, because I thought, well, he's really trying to make good on this deal here.
That's right.
So then I decided, I took his advice. He gave a lot of advice. Make sure you call the people. Don't just send emails, which is what I initially started doing, just sending emails.
And what did I tell you about messages? Don't
leave messages. I disobeyed that.
You disobeyed it?
I disobeyed that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, though. It doesn't work.
If it works for you,
I disobeyed.
You'd be killing me if it worked for you, because that doesn't work. That's as bad as an email. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
But it's me feeling like if I do multiple touches, something will pop, you know?
True.
So I did that. And then I started can't reach a few people. And
You mean you actually called and you called them and they answered the phone?
They answered, quite a few people answered the phone and were quite receptive. I mean, I was a little surprised. One guy was just like, oh, I like the way you came on the phone. I like your presentation. But then I just kept doing that for the day. And then one Department of State responded and sent me a request. And I actually sent him a quote. One of my assistants sent him a quote, and we actually won the opportunity for $6,000. So it was our first weekend we got a sale.
So that's, first of all, that's not typical, but it's exactly what you need to do. And so the reason why I love it is you were skeptical, then you were like hyper panic skeptical, right? And then it's like, okay, but you listened. And I can't thank you enough, Angela, because you made the calls and you found out that people will answer the phone. And then you had a really good pitch. So you talked to them and you said to these folks, is that you're buying these things, right?
I said to them, I know that typically you say go to the Fed bid and FBO, but you know what I'm looking for? I am looking for that personal touch, because everybody and their mother goes to FBO and GSA. Yeah, some people thought that was funny. And they actually said, once I said that, they said, okay, yeah, send me a capability statement and I will send you opportunities once they come across my desk. So a lot of people will try to push you off onto those portals. And once I told them that I'm looking for that personal touch, they couldn't really find a reason not to give me an opportunity, because I'm telling them I'm going to get them pricing in a hurry. I can provide them with GSA pricing, and it will help them to meet their small business goals. What else can why wouldn't you call me? They couldn't think of a reason not to.
Why wouldn't you call me? Why not? And Angela, you are awesome. You're awesome, because that's exactly what you need to do. You didn't appeal to them. It wasn't just appealing to them by meeting their small business goals, because $6,000 is going to do hardly anything for that, right? No. That's not why they did that. So why did they buy from Angela? So I'm going to ask this as a poll, because there's so many cool things, right? Is it because she bought the list? Is that why it worked? Is it because she emailed the buyers? Is that why it worked? Is it because she called the buyers? Is it because she had a unique product, or she had a persuasive value proposition? Now you can answer more than one. So everybody is right smack on. She called the buyers. She didn't leave messages, even though she disobeyed my instructions. No. She had a persuasive value proposition. Those are the two things that happened. She got proactive. About it. And that's exactly right. So I'm going to hide those and we're going to get this. All right, we got some questions. So let me get to the questions. We got a bunch of folks that are here. Oh, hang on a second. My gosh, where did my questions go? Oh, there they are. Whoa, how do you find weak incumbents? Woo, that's a great question. Thank you, Peter. Peter asked that question. The way that you find weak incumbents is exactly the way that Angela did. She didn't even know whether she was up against a weak incumbent. She was up against who cares? I don't care.
That's correct. Yep.
I don't care. I don't care who I buy from. I just don't care, right? And she gave him a reason to care. She gave him a reason of why not buy from me. You can buy it from anybody. You can go to Fed bid, you can go to FBO, you can do the blah, 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 blah. But why would you want to do that when you have me with a personal touch? Holy smokes, that was great. All right, so I won an FBO bid, 800 cases of toilet paper with 2 buyers. All right, that's great, Bob. I'm glad you won it. That's cool. Let's see. We got Sri. We have Dave. The report is great. The competitors report It would be good to have other small businesses. Most of my report has big business like Booz Allen's. That's correct, because a lot of the things that we do there, that we'll talk about how we can get to the smaller businesses and get to a place where you can do the average contract size, which will bring that down to the smaller. So, okay. We can also, can you also run custom reports for buying, who's buying from specific competitors? The answer is yes, you can. We can do that. We can look at very specific competitors and drill down into them as well. And then we can, yes, we can also do custom reports on who else is buying from a particular buyer. All right. So let's see. Dave, I actually like your presentation. I'd really like to meet and discuss. Okay, Mark, we can do that. Any specific strategies that apply to hotel lodging facilities? Yeah, it depends on where you are. Who is that? That's Stephanie. Stephanie, it depends on where you are and whether you're restricted to specific areas or you're talking about a chain. Is that there in Asheville, North Carolina? Okay, so you want to target the agencies that would be interested in staying there. So yes, the answer is we can do custom reports. And we could do that with the light version as well to be able to pull those things in. Do you have a contract instrument at hand to approach federal buyers? The answer is we don't have contract. We don't use contract. We don't have our contract vehicles. We use your contract vehicles. When we do our representation, it is to get you your contract vehicle in front of the folks that are buying. Let's see. How do I get a list of approved vendors in NetSense for the Air Force? That you can just do a search for Air Force NetSense, prime vendors, and you can get a list for that. Let's see. What does it say? I spoke to a couple points of contacts on a couple of RFPs. You're not allowed to compete. You're right, because that's an IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So how do I get a list of buyers who use P cards in the federal space? Great question. The people that we have are P card holders and also warrant capability holders. So we don't delineate between those. That would be in the Market Essentials, full blown or light version. We can do those. And there's a ton of them. Can reports be generated on keywords rather than NAICS? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. And it's better. In fact, when we do the Market Essentials version, we do feeders. When we're to look at, like, for instance, if you're doing construction, we would look at architects and engineers because they have to buy that first. And then before that, you have permitting issues and NEPA studies. So if you see them doing that for land, then you know that something's going to be built later. And then you could have even some real estate components and studies that happen before that for feasibility studies. So you can watch these kind of get pulled through. So that's kind of a linear feeder where you have things happening before. And then you have tangential feeders where you have, okay, if they're buying these Windows licenses, we know that they have servers, right? If they have servers, then they're gonna have to do a refresh, right? So the idea of things that happen congruently or at the same, if you see this, then this happens, right? If you have a computer room, then you have a computer room air conditioning unit, right? So those are the things that we can do for that as well. So that, let's see. If we're interested in getting you guys engaged, what are the next steps? Would you do a free consult for the initial meeting? Well, how about we just talk about it and that'll be your free consult. We will absolutely do that. What does the budget resource allocation worksheet represent? I leave that in there because generally for planning purposes, this is what successful federal contractors do. So if you're looking at what you need as a resource, so if you're a mom and pop shop, you're not ready for that yet. But if you're really, $5 to $50 million company and you're looking to get into the federal government, what does it take? What does it take to get there? How long does it take? What are the things that happen there? So that's why that's there. That's the resource allocation worksheet. Mom and pop folks, just like Angela, she's doing it herself, which is exactly why we did the lists so that she could. All right, so I will get to, let's see if there's any other. Let me All right. So what's the difference between Market Essentials and Market Essentials Lite? I'll talk about that in a minute. But the biggest thing is that one's an in-depth report. Then the other is that that's really for planning and strategy. The competitive environment has a lot of different features that you could present for funding and things like that. That's 5 years of historical data, as well as 12 years of your competitors' data. So we dive into individual competitors, long list of competitors that you can do. The biggest thing right now is it's 3 weeks versus 3 days. It takes about 3 days to do the Market Essentials Lite, so we can turn that around and use it. And you know, again, I highly recommend if you want a strategy, do Market Essentials for that. And I don't really want to go into any of those right at the moment because we're going to run out of time on those. So if you have any more questions, we will absolutely reach out. Stephanie has to hop on a previous meeting. Okay, cool. Well, we'll talk, Stephanie. We'll reach out. So if you have to jump, that's okay. All right. So so the question is, once you do your reports, whatever you do, whether you do Market Essentials Lite or you do the or you're just doing the smaller list, whatever it is, the next thing you do is, first of all, be proactive. Do exactly what Angela did. She turned it around and started to use it. She was innovative in her approach. She did the why not me. Great move. Great move. Call, no messages. I don't care what Angela says. No messages. So don't leave any messages because they're not going to respond. And even if they do, what are the chances they're going to respond when you're ready to talk to them, right? You can send introductory emails. They're pretty much going to fall on deaf ears because of the approach. But we have a way around that we'll talk about in just a minute. Again, you do your follow-ups after you send your introductory messages. No messages. Follow-up, I sent you an email. Keep calling and come to the Monday roundtables. We've done this and only had a couple of people from time to time that show up, and it's one of the greatest resources to come in and not get frustrated. And yeah, on one side, it's only $250, right? And so you're like, okay, I tried it, but it didn't work or whatever. Because come to the roundtables and come with the kind of fierce desire to succeed and pound me over the head like Angela did and say, hey, they're not taking my call, or they won't let me in, or they're telling me they don't shortlist and all this other stuff, or everything goes to FBO. What does that mean? To come and tell me those things, because that's where we can talk about specifics with you on specific pieces, and then everybody in the roundtable gets the benefit from that. So do that. So what do you get for $99 to $249? You get the top competitors in your NAICS. You get email addresses. You get phone numbers. You get the primary competitor so that you know what's happening. You get the total spend for the individual and the spend with a primary competitor. The reason why this is important is because if you know you line up well with a specific competitor, not the booze like you were talking about, right? So we can figure out the best way to handle that situation. But if you're talking about a primary competitor, this is where you want to know that you can say, hey, you're already doing business with ABC company. Why not me? Why not give me a shot? I'll knock your socks off if you give me a shot, but I can't knock your socks off if you don't give me a shot. So that's what's important with that. And it's $99 to $249. It's easy for folks to it's great for the do-it-yourselfers. It's great for getting started. If you're just getting into this space, to be able to see kind of how things work for ultra small businesses, and it gives you a taste of how things work. And everything that you spend here can apply to your Market Essentials report. Why? Because it's the same people. I don't want to charge you twice for the same people. We know that those people are going to be embedded in your Market Essentials report because the top 250 in a specific NAICS are going to show up in the top 5,000, right? Or in the 5,000 that get there. So any questions about that? Any questions for Angela or any additional pieces? We're kind of running out of time, and I want to make sure that we leave it. Anybody got anything? I don't see any hands raised, which is great. Let me see if there's any questions that just came in besides this, what we did before. Sorry, guys, I'm getting on. Nope. Okay, cool. Oh, there is a hand raised. Hold on a second. Who's got their hand raised? Who is, oh man, I don't know how to find that now. Where are they? Where's my peoples? Oh, there, here we go. Okay, Stephanie and Angela, okay. So Angela, you can talk anytime. Got you unmuted. So Market Essentials Lite. Market Essentials Lite is it is really very close to Market Essentials as far as the data itself is concerned. It's the who that matters to you. I know that sounds like Dr. Seuss, but it really is the truth. It's the people that are buying from your competitors, specifically in feeders and in those things with keywords, as one of the questions was. But we do it, number of contracts, we see this, and then we see the spend. And we look at this from the standpoint, some of these are major agencies, and some of these are minor agencies. I love the smaller agencies, by the way. So we look at this, and we pull this around for you. It's $19.95. It gives you all the buyers, not just the top 250, by NAICS, PSC, GSA, SINs, keywords as well. We do that as well. And it's your top competitors buyers. We can go and look through your competitors and make sure that we have them. And we look at their patterns for their purchasing, because we can see when things are happening so that you know when to get in front of those people. Some of those things are going to be 5-year turns. So we want to make sure we understand that. And then also the agency spending. What agencies should you target? I'm not a big proponent of targeting agencies. I'm a big proponent of targeting people. And then that determine the agency that you go after. Because once you're in an agency, then it's an agency spend, right? If you're already doing business there, then you want to grow organically with an agency, right? So then you get the primes and the people that are buying from the primes, and that's a great way to get referred to a prime, by the way. And then the buying patterns, and this is only available through the 31st for Market Essentials Lite. We're only doing this because we don't have time. And we did this because of specific clients that asked for it. And I said, okay, we'll make this available to people, but you really want to do Market Essentials so that you get your strategy component and do that. So we can go back in October and finish the process if we need to, or if you want to. But this is only available through 7/31, because if you don't do it by then, it's going to be too late to act. You can't do anything with it if you wait until the 31st, right? So that's the story with that. So here's the other part of answering the why when we bundle Market Essentials Lite with a 4th quarter introductory blitz. This is different than introducing yourself. It's us introducing you, and here's how it works. It's $29.50 a month, and it's 2 months. So we're going to run this from now until the middle of September, potentially the end of September. But we introduce you to the top 2 buyers in each location. So very similar. John, meet Angela, right? Angela's a great lady. She'll give you every reason to buy, right? She does really good stuff, and then we respond for you and says, hey, thanks, Dave. John, great to meet you. So it's a personalized introduction process, and it drives face-to-face and phone meetings, which is where it gets you to the point, just like Angela was, to be able to say, so this is kind of goosing everything that Angela was doing. So we do this. So we schedule the meet, we schedule and confirm the meetings to say, hey, Angela, you got to meet with John on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and we drive and confirm those meetings, and then we send updated capabilities with follow-up dates as you get into October and November, when people are going to say, I don't have time. I don't have time right now. Right. I know you don't have time right now, but if something does land on your desk, just give me a chance to be shortlisted. I promise I'm not gonna let you down. I'll knock your socks off. It doesn't have to, it's not big. I want to help you with small things. I want to help you with small things. I need to build the past performance, and I need people like you to give me a shot. And if you have just a little thing, something you have to do. So then you're dropping your capabilities, you're sending them, say, hey, great, we do the follow-up conversations and emails for you, and make sure that we keep things top of mind all the way through September 30th. And then we're scheduling things into October and November when things settle down. So you're going to have, the expectations are, we're going to drive the meetings for as many as we can get right now. We're going to get you known out in the marketplace, and then the overflow is going to go into October, November, which gives you your foundation for your planning and strategy for 2018, which is something that is beneficial anyway. So that's why we're doing that. So here's the question. What do you want to do right now? Let me see. Where's my polls? Here we go. So if you're ready to go, what is it that you're ready to go? Your buying report, you can do that right now. Go to the email, click buy 250. If it's do it yourself, like Angela was doing, perfect for mom and pop shops and people that want to get into this. That's a great place to be. Market Essentials Lite is the version that gives you the real beef that you could go after more than 250. Again, you can use it as they're your contacts. Once we do the research, they're your contacts. You can use them however you want. Just don't sell them to anybody else. You don't want anybody else to get your stuff. Market Essentials plus Blitz. This is the engine that can get you out in front of everybody right now. You want to get that if you're behind the 8 ball and you want to get things done by September 30th, that's the way to go. If you can do that. It's probably not for mom and pop shops because it's a pretty significant investment, but it's also an investment in your next year strategy as well. It rolls right into next year really well. Or you want to wait until the fiscal year ends, no shame in that. That's okay. You just wait till October and we keep talking and make sure we do it. And you need something else, let us know, and we'll get to you as soon as humanly possible. So with that, I'm going to let everybody do their final voting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to let everybody go. And we're going to get moving because we have, if there's any other questions, please reach out to me. Let me see. I think there is a question here. Something here. Somebody's here. I have to jump off for a phone call, so I missed about 15 minutes of presentation. Will you replay? Yes, we will replay the presentation. We will save it because my main man, Adam McDermott, is going to repurpose this, and we'll get it on YouTube as quick as possible because I think we maxed out anyway. And we'll make sure that's available. So we'll do that. So just finishing up, you can check us out at isiFederal.com. As I mentioned before, the intelligence, we've been talking a lot about the intelligence, the representation components. You can see all the services that we do for marketing and all those. If you have a GSA schedule, you need to go to QuikFuse and sign up. QuikFuse.com, 30 days for free. And I'm telling you, it is rocking. It's so fast. It's within a minute, you're going to know that something hit your GSA eBuy schedule. You don't have to log in to get your information, and it helps you figure out if it's something that you even want to bid. That's one of the biggest reasons we did it. We built it because we were dropping the ball because we couldn't keep up, especially in September. So again, this is only for, you got to do this by 7/15, 30 days for free, 500%. 5 times as much as you spend on QuikFuse, you will get back in your GSA eBuy sales, or it's free. We will refund all of your money. Now there's terms and conditions. Go there. You got to use it. You can't just let it sit there. It's a proactive tool, so use it. So with that, Jamie wasn't here, but you can reach out if you need a GSA schedule. Reach out to Jamie. He's a great guy. It's Jamie at gsalogic.net and also gsajamie@gmail.com. If you need a white paper, definitely reach out to Steve. Does great jobs for us, for our clients. When we do white papers, it's a great tool for marketing, getting out there. And I absolutely reach out to Taylor. She talks too much in these organizational meetings here. No, she is so awesome. I can't praise her enough for her connectivity and everything that she does to help people. She's just great. Reach out to Taylor for any of the compliance issues that you would have. Raphael can help you get your certification if you're 8A or Hub Zone eligible and service disabled as well. So you can do that. And Lisa Jones, tell us about Inspire and why they should come out and grab your proposal writing skills and capture management skills, not just because I said so. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay.
Awesome.
So Inspire helps all size companies with proposal writing, business development. Well, we work with Dave with business development, but we do the capture side of business development to help you actually win the proposal that you're going after and meet with the actual government folks. And we also work to help grant writing, whatever you need.
Grant writing is a whole nother story. We're going to do one on grant.
Story.
We're going to do a briefing on grant writing.
Okay.
You and I. I'm going to pull you in. We're going to talk about that. I've talked to a lot of people recently about that. And grant writing is really an important component, as opposed to, there's two different sides, contracting and grant writing. So there you go. So thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
You are awesome as always. So you can check out isiFederal on YouTube and LinkedIn. We have that, and QuikFuse is out there too, that you can check those out. And then we're really down to it. The last 60 days. The next one will be within 60 days on August the 8th. Obviously, we're talking about using QuikFuse, because if you sign up, we want to show you how to use it, because it's so powerful for being able to get to the people too. It's a great tool for because it pulls all the information for all the contacts, and it saves it for you so that you can go after the people. That's what I wanted it for. So the final push for 2017. And with that, see you next month. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And one of these days, we're going to get down to 45 minutes. It's all because you guys participated too much that we did that. But we thank you for being here. We'll see you next month. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, call me, and my phone will work in just a minute if you need to call me. So we'll leave you with that, and thank you again for being here. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.